Dear students, in this video lecture, we are going to discuss about how to solve a problem on pure Aloha. So I'll read out the question now. A pure Aloha network transmits 200-bit frames on a shared channel of 200 kbps. What is the throughput if the system produces 1000 frames per second, 500 frames per second? So here we have to find the throughput of the system for 1000 frames as well as for 500 frames per second. So what is the type of network here? The type of network is pure Aloha network. It transmits 200 bit frames. So what is the size of the frame? The size of the frame is 200 bits on a shared channel of 200 kbps. So what is the channel rate? The channel data rate is 200 kbps, okay, which is nothing but the bandwidth. So here you have two information. So one is the frame size and the another information is bandwidth. So what we have to do is, first we have to calculate what is the transmission time. So before getting into it, so I'll just say the throughput of pure Aloha. What is the formula to calculate throughput of pure Aloha? Which is S is equal to G into e to the power of minus 2G, where G is the average number of frames generated by systems during one frame transmission time. So what is G? So G is nothing but it's an average number of frames generated by the system during one frame transmission time. So first we have to find out what is the transmission time. So as you all know, the transmission time formula is frame size divided by bandwidth. So here the frame size is 200 bits divided by bandwidth. So what is bandwidth? Bandwidth is 200 kbps. So which gives the value as 1 millisecond. So what is the transmission time? The transmission time is 1 millisecond. So we have to find the throughput for 1000 frames per second. Okay. So here what is the meaning is, if system creates 1000 frames per second, then the system generates 1 frame per millisecond. So this is how you have to consider. A system generates 1000 frames per second, then in terms of millisecond you think, okay, then it would be 1 frame per millisecond. So this 1 frame you have to give it to a value G. So what is G now? G is nothing but this 1 frame. Now you have a value of G. You can very well substitute in the throughput of pure Aloha formula and you can find out what is called as S. I hope you people understood. So what is G? G is 1. So just substitute the value of G in the place of G in the formula. So S is equal to 1 into e to the power of minus 2. In the place of G, substitute 1. Okay, the value of S would be 0.135. 0.135. So that is what you call it as yes, right? And then what we have to do is we have to find the throughput for 1000 frames. Okay, so we have to find the throughput for 1000 frames, right? For 1000 frames, you just multiply S value with the 1000. So you will be getting 135 frames. So what is the meaning? The meaning of this is out of 1000 frames sent, 135 frames have reached the destination successfully. All other frames would have suffered due to collision. So that is the meaning. And the next one is we have to calculate the throughput for 500 frames. If system creates 500 frames per second, then what is G? G is nothing but 1 by 2. Okay, so per millisecond it generates 1 by 2 frame. Now your G value is 1 by 2. Substitute the value of 1 by 2 in the formula, that is S is equal to 1 by 2 into e to the power of minus 2 into 1 by 2. Now the value is 0.184. Now you have to find the throughput for 500 frames. So what will you do? You will multiply 500 into 0.184. You will get 92 frames. So what is the meaning? 92 frames out of 500 frames will survive. This is the calculation. The second problem is, in slotted Aloha protocol, each station sends frame of size 1000 bits at bandwidth 1 Mbps. Calculate the vulnerable time of the network. So here the problem from slotted Aloha is asked. Here two information are given in the problem. One is the frame size and the another one is bandwidth. So when these two information are available, you can very well calculate what is the frame transmission time. In short, we represent this as TFR, that is frame transmission time. So the formula for that is frame size divided by bandwidth. The frame size is 1000 bits divided by bandwidth. Bandwidth is 1 Mbps. So which we can very well write 1 into 10 to the power of 6. So which is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So this is nothing but 1 millisecond. So what is the transmission time or the frame transmission time? This is 1 millisecond. So what is the formula to calculate the vulnerable time of slotted Aloha, which is nothing but TFR. So what is TFR? TFR is 1 millisecond. So this is the vulnerable time as in the case of slotted Aloha protocol. In case of pure Aloha, the vulnerable time is 2FR. This is a formula in case of pure Aloha. In slotted Aloha, it is simply TFR, whereas in pure Aloha, the vulnerable time formula is 2FR, which is nothing but 2 into the TFR value is 1 millisecond, which gives you 2 milliseconds. Thank you. Thank you so much.